Last time we left off seeing this robot's face for the first time. I wasn't very impressed, and by the look on its face I'd say it wasn't either. But that's alright, being 3D printed I could make another one whenever I chose to. So I attached it and moved on. But you know the interesting thing about engineering? It's such an adventure, because as much as you try and plan things out, there's always going to be problems that surprise you. And this one was one I had just not expected. Hi, I'm Joe, and welcome to the third update on my household robot build. Remember that time of flight camera I talked about? Well, I was super excited about it, and the potential is enormous. But it turned out my fancy new silver faceplate was so reflective that even when it was out of the camera's field of view, it still would wash out the camera just being near it. I wanted to put aside the faceplate in favor of moving on, but the faceplate also held a cooling fan for the Raspberry Pi, so I needed it. After several experiments and many prints, I landed on a flat black insert around the eyes. This gave it a really cute kind of a cartoon owl look. I was satisfied and moved on. During this time, I also worked on the neck of the robot. My first plan of action was to scavenge parts from a hexapod robot kit I had purchased years ago, but this turned out to be too flexible and underpowered. The machine vision can cope with some amount of wobble, but I really didn't want to challenge it that much. I decided to reduce the neck down to a simple pan tilt mechanism, and my brother foolishly volunteered to do the CAD work for it. So, with no effort on my part, suddenly, I had exactly what I needed. Nice when that happens, you know? Next came tying in the servos with the IMU. This becomes important when the robot maps out its environment. As you might expect, I had some oscillation problems and other weird events happen, but I got it working. With the head finally mounted to the chassis, it was time to fire up both the Jetson and the Raspberry Pi and start tuning the cameras to each other. Well, what I mean by tuning is making sure they're both aimed the same direction. This was an interesting process, and also I discovered that the time-of-flight camera's emitter worked as a flashlight for the Jetson's low-light camera. So this thing will see in the dark. Pretty cool. And as you can see, there are some parts of me that the machine vision has not been trained to identify. By now I was super excited to get to the point where the robot can move and drive around on its own. And as I started writing code, I once again ran into another problem: the absolutely glacial speed that Python runs at. I've really started to like Python. It's warm and fuzzy to work with and pretty easy. But now its slowness is standing in my way. So I went back to one of the oldest and finest of engineering tools, the white sheet of paper on a clipboard. But after a lot of tinkering and thinking, I just couldn't get around the speed issue. There's a time that you write code in C and it calls me. And that's the end of this week's episode, as I have run out of progress. So until next time, drive erratically.